Hello and happy Friday to you. It is November 18th. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Or if you don't celebrate that holiday, then next Thursday is right around the corner. I am trying to do more true crimes in a week, hoping to broaden my horizons, I guess. I've stayed around with Nebraska stuff recently, and that's because I live here, but I'm trying to broaden a little bit more into the country and develop it more. This week I'm going to do, or this today, I'm going to do more social commentary because I was reading a statistic this morning that there's been 608 mass shootings in the United States this year. Currently, let me see, we're on day 320. So out of 322 days into the year, we're already on 608 mass shootings. That's more than one a day. I don't know exactly when I'll put it in there, but maybe I'll do it right now. Put a map, or not a map, but a calendar of when these shootings occurred. So you can see, I mean, there's sometimes multiple ones. Now, when we're talking about mass shootings, we're not talking about like 20, 30 people killed. We're talking somebody just opened fire and shot randomly at a whole bunch of people. There's some of the mass shootings where no one actually died, but many of them, somebody did die. And there was many injuries involved too. This isn't about gun control. I mean, I like guns. I've owned guns. I know people that own guns. It's not about gun control. But at one point, or what point, does other people's safety stop to matter? Or I guess stop mattering. I think sometimes people get all high strung going, oh, you're not going to take my guns away. Ooh, not take my guns away, not from my cold, dead hands. When in all actuality, it's not about taking guns away. It's more about mandating who can possibly have guns, or doing better checking or a longer wait time to get a gun. It's the due diligence of us as Americans to make it a safer country. A while back, I did a news or a true crime thing on the Norfolk bank robbery shooting. And an officer made a mistake, transposed two numbers, and counted himself responsible for that bank robbery, because if he would have got the numbers right, he could have taken the gun out of someone's hands that should not have the gun. And trust me, there's a lot of people out there that should not have guns. But people mistaken it and think it's my right to bear arms. But at what point does your right infringe on others? I've said before that mental health is a big issue in America because something's not sane about somebody that walks into a school and shoots it up or takes their vehicle and plows through a Christmas parade. There's something mentally wrong with these people. And I think with controlling the ability to get guns in certain people, that could help. That doesn't mean that John Q. Public is a bad person, but they might have tendencies that can do harm. You're not going to take Ted Bundy, or not Ted Bundy, but it doesn't matter. Jeffrey Dahmer and put him in a gay bar. That's just not going to go over well. I know that was kind of a stupid comment, but it's just ridiculous when people complain nonstop that their rights are being taken away. It's perfectly fine, I guess, that people get murdered or mass shootings or stuff like that. That's perfectly fine. But you're not going to take my Glock. It's ridiculous. I think when I saw the report about the 608 mass shootings, it really affected me because one of the last ones was here in Omaha. And I live in Omaha, Nebraska. And one of the last mass shootings was in Omaha, where somebody opened fire on a group of people, killing one person and injuring 7 others. The same time, there was one in Charlottesville, Virginia, which killed 3 people, injured 2. The same day, there was a shooting in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where nobody was killed, but 4 people were injured. And still the same day, in Enfield, North Carolina, there was 1 person killed and 5 injured. So just that day alone, 5 people were killed, 18 people injured. So in one day, in 4 different areas. That's too many people killed and too many people injured because 4 people had psychotic breaks. And I swear to God, probably one of them was they were just trying to kill one person, so they opened fire, killing multiple. How is that even right? How is that even an object or a reason? I'm going to put up a map showing where all the mass shootings occurred this last year. You can easily search it up to see in your area where it is. They have an Excel program that you can download that'll show everywhere. Because just for this year alone, like I said, this is the 322nd day of 2022. 611 people have been killed. So almost double the date. So that's 2 people a day shot and killed. 2,507 people have been injured by mass shootings. That's not right. That's not good. I've talked about school. It was a school explosion. It wasn't a school shooting, but it still is considered in the school shooting area of Bath, Michigan. And, back in my day, in the 80s, early 90s, you might sit there at school and somebody will be like, I'm going to kill you after school. Didn't actually mean he was going to kill you. Might kick the crap out of you, but he wasn't going to kill you. It was just an expression. Nowadays, he might kill you. And that's sad. Whatever happened to 2 people just punching each other until one of them goes, okay, you win, and quitting. Now it's just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go shoot people. That's a load of crap. What are we teaching our children? A lot of people sit there and say, my grandfather fought for our freedom. This is our freedom to shoot guns and kill people. Well, America was kind of founded as a penal colony. A lot of indentured servants were sent here and everything like that. So are we still the criminals that England said we are? Australia has grown up. They have gun bans. Why can't we? As a gun owner myself, I'm all for having to take a psych evaluation to get a gun. Because I know I'm not crazy. But the problem is there's a lot of people out there that are and would lose their guns. I had a former father-in-law who had a locked room in his basement with probably 20 to 40 guns in there. And he always said if somebody tried to take his guns, he was going to come out shooting. No one's going to take his guns. He didn't declare them on taxes when he had to file bankruptcy. He was checked on for the IRS and had the thing locked down and wouldn't let him go. And it's like, okay, you're doing all these illegal criminal activities and you have all the guns. It's crazy, man. And at that point is when I started thinking about crazy people that shouldn't have guns. Because his daughter, who was my wife at the time, got pissed off at him one day and walked outside with a .22 and shot up his truck. I'm sitting there going, what the hell? And then she lied about it and said somebody did a drive-by or something. We lived out in the country. Lots of drive-bys in countries, right? But she was pissed off at him, so she shot up his truck with a .22. And I'm thinking, what type of insanity is that? She thought it was perfectly fine, though. Hell, her brother shot her with a BB gun all the time when they were kids. It was perfectly fine to shoot up a car. No, and you shouldn't have a gun. So I made sure that all the bullets in the house were all locked up so she couldn't get to it, because I wasn't going to risk that again. I wasn't going to risk me getting shot, or my kids, or my car. And I'm not going to go anywhere with that, because, I mean, if we wanted to talk insanity on my first wife's family, oh God, we'd be going forever. But the subject is guns and mass shooting. 608 mass shootings in the last 322 days, killing 611 people and injuring 2,507. Those numbers are ridiculous. And this is not talking about a police officer shooting anyone. This is downright criminals shooting groups of people. And that's what they are, criminals. They belong behind bars. I've never understood the reason to shoot and kill someone, or to kill anyone. And I mentioned earlier Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, you know what? They were insane too. They were freaking out of their mind. But they're in the same boat. Because somebody that's going to open fire onto a group of people, they're out of their mind. But they should not have had access to a gun either. And I know I'm going to have a ton of comments down below, sitting there going, "You liberal bastard, you're not going to take my guns away." No, I'm not saying take your guns away. See, you're only hearing what you want to hear. I don't want to take anyone's guns away. I don't think anyone's guns should be taken away. I would go hunting if I had the opportunity, but I live in the middle of a city, so it's not like I can just go right outside and go hunt a deer. You know? There's certain reasons to have a gun, yes. But to drive by a group of people and shoot them is not one of those reasons. And that's what people seem to misunderstand. You know, I love it. Well, I don't love it, but after Sandy Hook, I remember hearing all these gun people going, "They're not going to take my guns away from me. Obama's not going to take my guns away from me. He can't take my guns away from me. We'll go to war if Obama tries to take my guns away from me." And Obama, and I can't quote him because I can't remember the exact quote, but he came out in a press conference and goes, I don't want to take your guns from you. I don't want to take your guns away from you. I love going out and shooting. But we need to have some reform to prevent things like this from happening. And that's all he said. Recently, I read an article, and I couldn't find it before this, but it's about Ted Cruz. Him going to meet with a whole bunch of people down in Uvalde and saying, you know, we're trying to pass some more laws to get more resource officers in the school and get teachers to have guns and all this stuff, but the Democrats voted it down. Yeah, we don't need more guns in school. I'm sorry, Grandpa Munster is nuts. And fine, be critical about me saying that, but that's not the answer. Having common decency and some intelligence is the answer to this problem. I don't want to take away your gun. Hell, you want to go shooting target shooting or something like that, ask me. I would go in a heartbeat. I love that. But we need to care more about the individual and less about the material thing. What's more important, your Glock or your child? Your AR-15 or your wife? Your sniper rifle or your husband? What is more important? If your family got gunned down by some idiot doing a mass shooting, are you going to look back and go, well, it was his right to have a gun? Or would you say, okay, something needs to be done about this? This crazy SOB should never have had a gun. That's the whole subject. And that's what people are missing, because it's their gun. Well, if it happens to you, how are you going to feel about it? Are you going to be A-okay with that and be like, oh, it's his gun, yay? And if you're that way, I'm sorry to hear that. You should not be around. If you have that little love for human decency, you're a sad individual. I'm very sorry to hear about that. Well, Hazel Grace has graced us with her presence to say goodbye. And I will see you next time with more true crime. Please be good to each other, be respectful, and peace out.